week ago today, on Wednesday, April 12th, 2023, I loaded up my rig and headed east to meet up with these two old cats, and we went camping for just 3 days, a couple of nights at Echo Bluff State Park. And in fact, we were the only ones in the campground. First night, second night we were there was another couple in an RV back in there. But Cool got there before I did. He set up camp, and then we just grabbed a couple of chairs and our fishing gear and stuff, and headed over to do a little fishing. And we fished till almost dark. And we were that's the Current River on the left there, and on the right is Sunken Creek. So we were at the confluence again. Now as we're looking at it, on the right is Sunken Creek, and then on the left's Current. But we're sitting there talking about how we floated that river a few times, Current River, growing up. And one particular float we were both remembered was would have been probably our junior year in high school, and a bunch of us, guys and gals, got together. We probably had, there was I don't know, maybe 14 of us or so. Anyway, we would have floated right down where you're looking right now, 47 years before now. And we're sitting up there just thinking, man, that is so cool to think here we are 47 years later, same water rolling down through there, and we were on there as kids. But you know, if you keep your eye out when you're out in nature, it's interesting what you'll see. I don't ever remember seeing a big old group of butterflies like that. They were in the mud down there. I guess they were, I don't know what they were doing. Big ones, little ones, and just really kind of cool. Kevin found that little water snapping turtle. I always call those loggerheads, but apparently that's a misnomer. A loggerhead's a sea turtle. Anyway, these are common snapping turtles, but they get big. They'll get up to 40 pounds, and or better than 40 pounds. And trust me, they are not anything to mess with. More on that maybe in a future post. But it was beautiful, beautiful weather. No rain. In the low 70s or so during the day. Evenings got down in the 50s. A little cool at night, but it was comfortable. Horse tracks. You can hear him calling the owl's response. He called two of them in. Called two of them in while we were sitting there, and I put my camera away and forgot to get it back out. We had two of them in those trees right above us. But we got up the next morning and got that campfire going. Had a pretty good night's sleep for sleeping on the ground in a tent. And opened a can of coffee that my old friend Eddie G, that fella right there, he gave me. He said he'd had it for years, didn't know if it'd be any good. Shoot, I stuck that buck knife my father-in-law gave me down in there, and that vacuum popped it, and it still was vacuum sealed. And we sure enjoyed a few cups of coffee there over the campfire, and in that old percolator that my good friend Stephen Ray gave me. And it's amazing how much stuff people give me over the years, but nothing better than that. It's hard to get better than that right there. But and then we drove down to Eminence and decided to have breakfast down there at a place. It's either called JB's or Ruby's. I think it's JB's now, but you can see Marty Plain, if he took that picture, and Marty says there's maybe copyright material there. If so, and Jeffrey, if you guys if I owe you some money, call me, get a hold of me, and I'll let me know how much I owe you for using your pictures. But it's just beautiful. Flowers were starting to pop, and grass was growing, and but I spent as much time out there in the water as I could. Quite a bit till my feet were probably waterlogged. I rarely get skunked on those old crawdad crankbaits, but I tried several different colors and was unsuccessful. I didn't catch anything the first afternoon and evening we were there, but had a great time nonetheless. I just like being in the water. It's just so much fun. That's Sunken Creek there that I'm on, and although it's got some deep spots in there and fast water you got to be careful of, most of it was wadeable, so I just took off up in there, and surprisingly for mid-April the water was very, very pleasant. It wasn't cold, it certainly wasn't warm, but you can see a bunch of minnows there. I thought, man, if I had a casting net I could have got me some minnows, and I'm pretty darn sure I would have for sure got myself some quite a few more smallies than I actually did catch. Talk about keeping your eyes open. I walked up on the creek bank and walking back in there looking around, saw this rascal. I think, although that snake looks really menacing, I think that's an eastern hognose, or at least a hognose snake. They're not venomous. They look pretty wild, look like a cobra. But he was just slithering around in there, I guess, looking for something to eat. I understand they like to eat toads. Is their favorite food. I didn't know anything ate toads, but apparently these hognose snakes do, based on my minor research that I did. But I'm not a big snake fan. A lot of people are freaked out by them. Contrary to popular belief, they're not slimy, and most are not venomous. But if that's it, so somebody, if you're a snake, you know more about these snakes than I do, give me a yell. I know a lot about rattlesnakes and copperheads, but not familiar with that one too much. So I got I caught a few smallies. That one there was the only one I got on camera. I got fancy on a bigger one, really pretty nice one. He'd probably been a couple pounds, but I didn't get him on. But I like seeing him swim away. We were going to keep one or two, just enough for dinner if we got a couple of nicer ones, but we decided not to keep those small ones. We'll let them put them back. It's fun to see them swim off. Boy, they're fun to catch. If you haven't been smallmouth fishing in a while, you ought to consider, if you're able to, get out and go. If you live in Missouri or Arkansas, man, we're sitting in oh my gosh, we've got so many streams and rivers and lakes and ponds, and there's no lack of good fishing water. That sunset, we had something come out that night. We sat there and watched it. It was the weirdest light we'd ever seen. It looked like something neither one of us ever seen. But anyway, on the way out, came back through Salem, Missouri, and I found a new little hole-in-the-wall place to eat. And man, oh man, was the food good. The price was unbelievable. Spring Creek Cafe. Now, I'm telling you, as in the words of Uncle Raymond, it ain't fancy. And trust me, it was not fancy at all. Just an old house we were in, but prices, and we probably got 75% more food at half the price than what I'd pay here in Bentonville, Arkansas at the Spring Creek Cafe. So anyway, I don't know if any of those folks will ever come across here, but we sure appreciated the hospitality, and they were very, very good service, and just had a good time. I never get tired of eating breakfast. But again, Current River, Sunken Creek, great place to go down there and camp. Echo Bluff State Park, a really cool place. There were not very many people down there. Of course, it's kind of off season, but we had a great time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Several more people have signed up. That's not my goal, but it's quite a compliment to get an email that says, hey, you got a new follower, and so it's just really much appreciated. I don't take for granted that if some of you enjoy watching this stuff that I do. I realize not everybody can get outside. I'm fortunate enough I've got the time to do it and places to go. So thank you for tuning in. I'll try to get some more stuff on here before too long. Thank you all.